Come on, folks. Y'all got to give me some more than that. I came all the way to San Antonio, Texas. Folks. Good morning. Good evening, I guess, right? My name's Coach Michael Bird. I believe everybody needs a good coach in their life. How many of you have ever had a good coach at some point in your life? Raise your hand. Just look around the room. How many of you, that coach did three things for you? They had conversations with you that you may or may not want to have, which is what I'm going to do with you today. They pushed you to do some things you may or may not have wanted to do. Yes or no? How many of you, that coach helped you become something you did not think you could become? Raise your hand. So if I ask you a question right now, who's coaching you today? See, I want you to think about this. I was raised in a small town in Tennessee. I was raised by a single mom who had me when she was 16 years old. And when my mom was working two jobs, she used to take me down to the local baseball field where I would stay for hours and hours and hours. And that was a cheap babysitting service, right? And mom would take me down there and I would stay down at the local baseball field. And there was one woman named Mickey Vincent who was a female coach coaching Little League Baseball. And she tended to me and she cared for me and she fed me. And at 6 years old, she said to me, son, one of these days you're going to be a great coach when you grow up in life. 6 years old, I had a big revelation. I want you to write this down. Revelation is a sudden, dramatic moment. Sudden, dramatic moment. When did you get into insurance? Why did you get into insurance? Was it because somebody somewhere chose to see the good in you when it was easy to see the bad? Yes or no? Somebody said, you can do this. You can become somebody. Revelation, sudden, dramatic moment. 6 years old, she said to me, son, when you wake, one of these days, you're going to be a great coach in life. Because of that revelation, you have a lot of conviction. Conviction is a deep-seated belief. At the end of the day, that's what you're really selling. Yes or no? How many of you believe every person on planet Earth needs insurance? Raise your hand. Okay, conviction, deep-seated belief in something. You have the conviction because of the revelation. And because of the conviction, you're willing to take large amounts of action, which means you're willing to do things other people are not willing to do. So at 6 years old, I knew one day I was going to be a coach. 15 years old, I get a phone call, and he said, son, will you help me coach this junior pro basketball team? And I said, I'd love to coach this junior pro basketball team. I was a little point guard. You guys figured out I wasn't a post player. I was a little point guard, and I was always coaching and directing and leading people. So I got dressed up in a suit to go coach junior pro basketball. I was 15, coaching 9 to 12-year-old kids. I looked like a little Pat Riley coaching junior pro. And I had a lot of passion, which is an irresistible belief for motive or action. Where's that passion come from? Conviction. Where's that conviction come from? The revelation. Sudden, dramatic moment. So I actually got ejected from a junior pro basketball game. 3 technical fouls. And I got a standing ovation on my way out, not because they liked me, but because they did not like me. And they're like, who is this kid? And where's all this passion coming from? So I'm like, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. I want to coach people. So at 18 years old, I started studying sales. I started studying under a guy named Dr. Stephen Covey, who wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Principle-Centered Leadership, First Things First. And I make up my mind, I want to be a head boys basketball coach. And this is where sales started to come into my life. And so I showed up in the summer, because Pray Drive, you're going to see around the new book I've just finished, it's coming out in January, is initiative. It's instinct to pursue. An animal has a prey drive. It is that animal's ability to stalk, capture, and kill prey. How many of you have a sweet little dog and you say this dog would never hurt anybody? Raise your hand, please. Trust me, if that dog's prey drive was activated, you would not want to be alone in a room with that dog. Stalk, capture, kill prey. Does that sound like a good salesperson? Yes or no? They see it, they pursue it, they capture it. They see it, they pursue it, they capture it. So 18 years old, I started showing up at this little elementary school when I was 18 years old, and the principal would come in the summer, because that's the only person that came in, not the teachers, just the principal, and I would be sitting there waiting on him. And he said, who are you? And I said, sir, I'm reporting for duty. I'm your new head boys basketball coach. Reporting for duty. He said, kid, got my first objection. What is an objection? It's opposition of thought. You have a thought, they have an opposing thought. Who typically wins that? The person who has the most what? Conviction. The person who has the most conviction has the most certainty. The person with the most certainty typically wins when there's an objection. So he comes in and he says, the first objection is you're too young. Kid, we can never make you the head boys basketball coach. And I said, I understand. But man, I've been getting ready since I was 6 years old. I'm ready for this job. I'm ready to take over this team. I'm ready to coach. I'm ready to do this. He said, go home. You're never going to get this job. Now, here's a sales stat. Every discipline in the world, including insurance, tells me that you have to go 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time to convert someone who is interested in something to someone who is taking action on something. How many times do you think most insurance agents go? You got 4. Where's my 3? 3 to 5? How many of you guys think? In the follow-up. 1. Every stat in the world tells me 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time to convert someone who is interested in something to someone who is buying something. Everybody hear that? Okay, so I read that stat, 7 to 15 touches. So guess what? I showed up every day. Principal come in the very next morning. Guess who was sitting there? Me. Good morning. He said, kid, what are you doing? I said, sir, applying for this job, head boys basketball coach. I've been coaching since I was 6 years old. I had my first job at 15. I am ready to step into this job, right? Prey drive. Prey drive is instinct. Instinct to do what? Pursue. Pursue a lead. Pursue a deal. Pursue an opportunity. Pursue a strategic partnership. Pursue without fear. The lion goes into the jungle every day, and if it don't kill, the whole family don't eat. Everybody see that? King David was a great king in the Bible. Every day he got up and went into battle. Every day he went into battle. As long as he was going into battle, he was a great king until he decided to stay home and not go into battle. And he got distracted by the Bathsheba show. And his whole life went downhill when he wasn't going into battle. The lion goes into the jungle every day, right? You gonna talk about this, Anthony Starks? And if the lion don't kill, the family don't eat. How often do you go into battle? How many times do you follow up? So day 2, he says, kid, we can't do this. Insurance would never let us do it. And I'm like, put me with an adult. Let me be the head basketball coach. I did this for 14 straight days. Every morning, principal comes in. Good morning. 14th day. Guess what he said? Kid, you got the job. Primarily because nobody else has applied for this job. I said, I'll take it. I coached the team. I built my own office. I drove the bus. I coached those kids. And the very first year, we won a state championship, 31-5. That's right. Thank you. The principal came to me at the end of the year. He said, you did such a great job coaching. We think we would like to pay you. I'm like, dang, this is getting good. How much you going to pay me? He said $199.50 for the year. I didn't care because I was going for the experience versus the money. I didn't want the money. I wanted the experience. I wanted to take something and see it through to its conclusion. So I coached that team for 2 years, and at 19 years old, I got a phone call from the second largest high school in the state of Tennessee. They said, kid, we heard about you. That is a referral. A referral is when great people go tell other great people how great you are. Yes or no? Great people go tell other great people that you transformed their life. You took them from A to B in their life. You moved them from point A to point B. That is a referral. So he said, I've heard about you. That's a referral. I've heard you're this young little whippersnapper that can flat out coach. Will you come down to this big high school and be my assistant coach? 19 years old. And I said, sir, I just got one question. I'm only 19, but it's a very important question. Exactly how much are you going to pay me to be your assistant coach? After all, I'm already making $199.50. And you may not be able to afford me. And he laughed like you, and he said, kid, we're going to pay you $2,000. $2,000. Now, let me ask you a question. Did I just 10 times my income? Yes or no? I went from 200 to 2,000. I coached that team like I was coaching in the NBA. Within 3 years, he retired. I became the head coach, youngest head coach in the state of Tennessee at the second largest high school. It took me 10 years to take a place who had never won a championship to winning the first of 7 championships before I retired at 31 years old to coach business people. Every day at my current role was an interview for my next role. Every day with my current customer is an interview for your next customer. Yes or no? Every day I coached that team like I was coaching in the NBA. My very first year, I made $25,000. I went from 2,000 to what? 25. Now what my coaching company does, we do 25,000 a day. Now that's 10 times in your income, folks. So you can clap for that because if I can go from $199 a year to $25,000 a day, you can too, right? So when you think about this, what was really happening in my life from 18 to 25 is I was a student. And I was studying How do you engineer a person? How do you take people from all walks of life, all socioeconomic backgrounds? I took inner city kids, I took middle class kids, I took rich kids, one parent, no parent, two parents, and I took those kids and I got them to play at the absolute possible, highest possible level they could perform. And I was engineering. What I was really doing is what I'm going to teach you today. I was activating something deep inside of them I'm going to call Pray Drive, P-R-E-Y-D-R-I-V-E. You say, what is Pray Drive? This is my 17th book. And in this book, it took me 2 years to write this book. And in this book, here's what I figured out. Pray Drive is in every single person. Every person in here has a Pray Drive, which is the big revelation I had sitting at a workshop when I was 41 years old with my wife. And it's being taught by a former Vietnam veteran who was in the War Dog Division of the Vietnam War. His job was to wake up every morning to go out into the jungle. The dog's job was to sniff out bombs, booby traps, ambushes. Any day you think it's hard selling insurance, I want you to think about waking up in the middle of a jungle, telling yourself that you ain't gonna die today, going out ahead of the infantry, and that dog's job, the only thing you had was that dog beside of you, and that dog's job was to sniff out bombs, booby traps, ambushes. Imagine the psychology of what you had to tell yourself every day. Imagine going into battle like that every single day. And he kept talking about the dog having a Pray Drive. And I'm sitting there beside him, I'm like, what is he talking about, Pray Drive? And so I did what any person would do that doesn't know what something is. What did I do? I Googled it. And guess what I found out? Pray Drive is this. Prey drive is an animal's ability to see something, stalk it, to capture it, to kill it. I'm sitting in that workshop, 41 years old, been coaching people since I was literally 15, and I said, humans have a prey drive, but it has not been activated, or it has been deactivated, or you had it at some point in your life and you lost it. You see, what you learn when you study motivation, because I broke down top 20 motivational theories, I deconstructed those theories to write this book. That means I looked at every motivational model there has ever been. And here's what I figured out. Satisfied needs never motivate people, only unsatisfied needs. The reason you become complacent in life is because all of your needs are met. You're making a good living, you got good kids, you got a good wife, you live in a good home, you're making good money. I literally had an insurance person I was coaching, because I've coached some of the top insurance people in the world, including John Wetmore, including Starks here, including Joe back there. You talk about some of the best people in the world, I have coached them in the insurance business. And I actually had an insurance person come to me one day and he said, Coach, is there really a difference between making $250,000 and $650,000 a year? He said, there's not really a difference, is it? And I'm like, that may have been the dumbest question anybody's ever asked me. I said, you know what kind of life you could have at $650,000 versus $250,000? You know what kind of life you can have at $1 million a year versus $250,000? Why do you get to $250,000 and say, I'm good? Complacency is a gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. Why do you get to $50,000 a year and say you're good? Why do you get to $100,000 a year and say you're good? It ain't about you versus the money, by the way. It's about you versus your potential and you versus what you are capable of doing. And money is just the byproduct of value creation. It is about you pushing till you have nothing left to push. So when I'm coaching these kids, I'm sitting there that day at 41 years old, and I'm like, humans have a freaking prey drive. It just has not been activated. And so I started to study it. I even trademarked the two words prey drive in humans. I'm the only person on planet Earth that can talk about it in this context, in humans. And then I wrote this book called Flip the Switch. It's coming out in January. So here's what I said. Prey drive in you is your ability to see something with the eyes. Something you want, or in the mind, in the imagination, and to have the persistence and the intensity to pursue it. See, about a month ago, I coached 200 blind business owners. I was the keynote speaker at their conference, and they walked up to me afterward, one after another, and said, I can't see it with my eyes, but I can see it in my mind. And I could feel your conviction. And you have activated something deep inside of me that I ain't had in a long time, Coach. Not long ago, I was coaching 5 men who were making $500,000 a month. $500,000 a month, and they came to me to be their coach. You know what they said? Lost my prey drive. Coach, I'm comfortable. I've gotten away from doing things that made me successful. I quit prospecting like I used to. I quit following up like I used to. I used to do all of these things, right? That's why Les Brown always said, used to bees and wannabes don't make honey. I used to prospect. I used to work hard. I used to do this. I used to do these things. So pray drive is your ability to see something with the eyes that you want and to have the persistence and the intensity. So I want you to write these 3 phases down. Number 1, the pray drive must be activated. And my goal today is to activate your drive like it has never been activated before. Now, that's a big task in 35 or 40 minutes. But when you've been doing this for 30 years, that's what you know how to do. Go deep inside of you and activate something that's latent, dormant, or you've allowed it to go complacent. Complacency is a gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. Anybody send their kids off to school today and say this? Hey, I just want you to go gradually settle to a place of mediocrity today. See, I put my daughter in the car in the morning, my 10-year-old daughter, and I look at her and she looks at me. She said, Daddy, we're going to go do something big today. And one day I was about to leave. She said, Daddy, I want you to go pro. Because I talk about that a lot to my students. We're going to leave our amateur desires behind and we're going to go pro. And when we go pro, we're going to play at the highest level. She looked at me, my 10-year-old daughter, and said, go pro. I had never said that to her, but she heard me say it to my coaching students. And I said, that's good, sweetie. I want you to go pro today too. How many of y'all want to make the pro money? How many of you know somebody in the insurance business that's making the pro money? See, I define pro money as a minimum of $1 million a year in personal income. If you are not at $1 million a year of personal income, then my opinion is you still got some room to go. Yes or no? Okay. And it is possible, because if it's possible for a guy like me that came from making $199 a year to that level, then you can do it too. But first, this drive has to be activated. So I want you to write these 3 phases. Number 1, activation. The pray drive has to be activated. How often does it have to be activated? Every single day. Okay? I do not wake up every day with my pray drive activated. Okay? I flew in today. I woke up at, 5 a.m. I wake up just like you do. Tired, frustrated. I'm a high D on a personality profile, so I'm angry. And I've been doing this 30 years. So if you tell me, man, I've been in insurance a long time, I'm tired. I'm tired too. But amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals do not listen to their feelings. I actually activate my pray drive. It does not wake up activated. Although I write motivational books, I wake up just like you do, right? When I go to the gym in the morning, 5 a.m. in the morning, I go to rock box and do boxing. People look at me and say, Coach Burp, got to activate that pray drive. And I'm like, I will punch you in the face right now. Do I look like my pray drive is activated? I don't talk to anybody in the gym. I don't look at people in the gym. I'm like, I am here to do the same thing you're trying to do. Activate that drive. So number 1, it has to be activated every single day. Number 2, there must be a persistence to that drive. There must be a persistence to that drive. And here's the problem with a lot of people. They do not have the long obedience in the same direction. The way the greats become greats is they have long cycles of time. Tiger Woods was on a golf course at 7 months old. Mozart was playing music at 2. When you see people who you think are more talented than you, they're most likely not more talented than you. They have had longer cycles of practice than you. They have been doing it longer than you. They have mastered something better than you have. They do not dabble. They decide. When they do all the studies on people that master something, they don't practice a little bit more than other people. They practice significantly more than other people. They don't just put an hour in, they put 4 hours in. Persistence is embracing the suck. It's the willingness to do things you don't want to do. I still prospect every day. I still follow up every day. I still engage with people every single day. I still coach the people that sign up to be in my coaching programs. I coach them, not other people. So when they sign up to get me, they get me. They don't sign up for Coach Burke, get Coach Kurt. You with me? So I still am in the fight every single day. And you know why? Because I know that if I get out of the fight, the pray drive is deactivated. So number 2 is persistence. Number 3 is intensity. There must be an intensity to the pray drive. And intensity is a timeline and a target. A timeline and a target. And I'm going to show you something today of where intensity comes from. Intensity comes from having a long way to go in a short time to get there. I wrote down on my whiteboard, there's a whiteboard over there, and one day I wrote down this, and I brought my team in, and I wrote down 18,000. And I asked my team, what does that mean? And they said to me, is it a number of sales? Is it a number of clients? Is it a number of people? I said, it's the number of days I have left on planet Earth if I live to be 84 years old. Average lifespan of a female today is 78. Average lifespan of a male is 80. Excuse me, average lifespan of a male is 78. Average lifespan of a female is 82. If I live to be 84, that's how many days I got left on planet Earth. That don't seem like a lot of days. How many of you agree? Okay, so if I got an intensity about me, it's because I got a long way to go in a short time to get there. I have a target. That target's 25,000 a day. When I wake up in the morning, everything is headed toward that target. How many high-value activities can I do per day to get to that number? 25,000 a day times 5 is 125 a week. 125 times 4 is 500,000 a month. 500,000 a month times 12, 6 million a year. How many of you could live off 6 million a year? Okay, now see how I broke that down? So I do 35 to 45 high-value activities every day to get to 25,000 a day. 25 times 5 is 125. Everybody see that? Intensity. So I want you to look at your partner right now beside you, and I want you to tell them where you struggle the most. Is it activation of your prey drive? Is it persistence of your prey drive? Or is it intensity of your prey drive? Just tell them real quick. You got 10 seconds. Okay, good. What about you, big guy? Good. What about you, big guy? Like your haircut. How you doing, bud? Good to see you. All right. Now, how fast did you figure out where you struggle? How many of you struggle with activation? Raise your hand. Good. Imagine me living with you every day. How much fun would that be? Number two, how many of you struggle with persistence? Look around the room. How many of you struggle with intensity? Okay. Complacency, gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. How many of you will admit, because all progress starts by telling the truth, how many will admit you've allowed yourself to get complacent? 25 years old, I wrote my first book. Moms and dads would drop their kids off to me, and they would say, Coach, my daughter has a lot of what? Potential and attitude and issues and drama. How many of you got kids? Y'all can say it. I got a 10-year-old daughter. She got all those. I hired a coach last week, a sports psychologist, to work with my 10-year-old daughter because I'm her dad, and I push her, but I'm dad. I created success schools for kids where we teach the habits of the top 1% to 10-year-olds, 10 to 17-year-olds, and 17 to 22-year-olds, the habits of the top 1% of performers, because no school in America is going to teach them that. My daughter went through that school, and I said, you know what? You need some more coaching. I'm going to hire a coach for you. She's going to work with you on regulating emotion, staying focused, because you need it. Everybody needs a coach in their life. Everybody. My wife just hired a coach, paid $25,000 last week. She came to me and said, I need a coach. I'm getting a little complacent. It's $25,000. You okay with that? Go do it. It's going to help you get better. It's going to help our family get better. Go do it. I'm for it. Everybody needs a coach in their life. You know why? Because we all start with good intention. Remember this cycle. I start excited. Y'all will leave here today, and through John Wetmore and his wife and his team and this event and Sean Mike, and y'all going to get excited. You're going to start with good intention. That prey drive is going to be what? Activated. And if it ain't activated by today, you need to get out of the business. Joe, am I right or right? Because if you come and hear all these people talk about this and you can't get motivated, you're in the wrong business. You are in the wrong business, okay? Okay, and this is a good business to be in. I have my own insurance agency. I am with Family First. Okay, I'm building an insurance agency just like you are every day, which means what? It needs attention. It needs people to follow up with. I need people to call. I need people to follow. I'm right in there with you. I'm one of you. Everybody with me? And I got into the insurance business because it's a better vehicle. It is the right vehicle for your life and your future and your finances. So you're going to start with good intention, and then you're going to fail to follow through. How many people play that? I start with good intention, and then I fail to follow through. This is life. And then I feel guilty. The guilt is associated with grief. What am I grieving? My lost potential. What I could have been, what I should have been, what I was supposed to be. So I want you to look at this chart up on the board. Every major person I coach them on this. A is your current position in life. A is where you are today. It is where you currently are. It is everything you are frustrated with about your life today. And everybody's got a lot of frustration. Frustration's good. Frustration is just misguided enthusiasm. You get frustrated enough, guess what you'll do? Take action. This is B. This is where you're trying to get to. This is your ideal picture of where you're trying to go. I'm here, but I'm trying to get here. You know that most people, when I ask them what's your B, they can't tell me. Where are you trying to go? What are you trying to do? Why would you go there? Now, a lot of people are going to lead you to believe you just got to find your why. How many of y'all have heard that before? You got to find your why. How many of you bought the book, Find Your Why? Look at all these people. Okay, chapter 3 of my new book is called Screw Your Why. And that will probably be my next book. And let me tell you why. I have been coaching people, Jaden, for 30 years. I have coached in the prison system for 4 years trying to get maximum security offenders out of prison. I have coached blue collar, white collar, broke, poor, millionaires, billionaires. Here's what I would tell you. You do not have to find your why to do something big in the world. I actually don't think you find your purpose. I actually believe your purpose finds you. And it finds you when you are taking an action toward something. So here's what I believe. I believe in something called because goals. Because goals are big reasons people do something when they don't feel like it. Because I grew up without my father. He was never there. He never told me he loved me. He never come to a baseball game. Because of that, I made up my mind I was going to be a good dad to my kids. Because I grew up poor, I made up at some point I was never going to be poor again. Because a coach believed in me when I was 6 years old, I made up my mind I was going to spend the rest of my life believing in pushing other people. Because I believe in the potential and power of people, I do things when I don't feel like it. Everybody with me? Everybody see that? I call the top 5 people I coach and I ask them, what's your why? And Joey, guess what they told me? I don't know. It's just who I am. The top 5 people I coach. Because I loved flying in on that private jet today, I'm willing to pick up calls. Can I get an amen on that one? Now, because that thing's expensive to get here. Here's my point. I believe in because goals. What are your because goals? What's the big reasons you're willing to do something when you don't feel like it? Because I believe in going 7 to 15 touches in the follow-up. I always follow up 7 to 15 times. Because I believe everybody needs insurance. Because I believe insurance is one of the best vehicles you can get into. They're going to give me another microphone. Now let me ask you a question. Once I know your because goals and once I know your B, here's the difference between high value and low value. High value is a high value of your time. What is the highest value of your time as an insurance agent? Yeah, producing new money, calling on new leads, calling new people. That is a money generating activity is a high value activity. What's a low value activity? Yeah, drama. Talking about what happened this weekend. Who's going to win the football game this weekend? What's going on? See, this is a low value of your time. The highest value of your time is money generating activity. What happens when you wake up tomorrow and you don't feel like making calls? What happens? What do the pros do? Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals do not listen to their feelings. 35 to 45 high value activities every day. Calling on new money. The business needs new money. How big is your B? How big is your B right now? Or how small is your B? I'm building a greatness factory in downtown Nashville. It's a $7 million project. And it's a place you go to become great. It's got auditorium, podcast studios. You can work there. Right across the street is called the Complacency Factory. I think I should build both, don't you? When I think about that project, something that God gave me in 2016, because when mom and dads brought their kids to me when they were 14 years old, you know what I said when they said they had potential? I said, thank you for bringing your daughter to the greatness factory, because we're going to manufacture her greatness in all 4 parts of her nature: the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. 2016, God said, you're supposed to build a greatness factory. It's a place where adults can go to become great. I found the perfect place in downtown Nashville. Took me 6 years to put the plans together, over $200,000 building the plans, $3.6 million to buy the building, another $2 million to build it out. See, any day I get lazy or I get complacent, any day I don't want to make a phone call, any day I don't want to follow up with somebody, any day I don't want to work the business, you know what I remember? God gave me a vision of building a greatness factory. It takes a whole lot of money to build one. Everybody with me? See how big my B is? When your B is small, you got little motivation. So you're a victim to your feelings. Just want to sell a couple policies. I just want to make it through the day. I just want to have a little extra money. I just want to be able to do this. I just want to see your B's not big enough. And when your B's not big enough, the prey drive is not activated. It's actually suppressed. Satisfied needs never motivate, only unsatisfied needs. So what I do when I start getting complacent or bored or stuck or in a rut is I set a big goal. Something that scares me, something that activates my drive, something that puts some fear in me, because fear is an activator of prey drive. Everybody see that? Fear is fuel. Fear is your friend. Fear can be channeled. Rejection can be channeled. Had a person today tell me no on a contract. You know what I said? Thank you. Good luck. You know what I said in the email back? Thank you. I owe you. She come back to me and said, what do you mean? I owe you. I said, you just activated my prey drive. You told me no. I can't help you if you don't commit. I'm not mad at you. I actually thank you. I owe you. Because now I'm more motivated to pick up the phone and go replace that money because you told me no. Everybody see that? Any negative can be used to activate your prey drive. Everybody see that? So when you think about this prey drive, here's what I like to show people. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And basically what Maslow was saying, I remember seeing this as a kid, but I didn't pay attention until later in life. What he's really saying is their ultimate goal is to reach our highest level of performance as a human. That God gave us this potential, and our gift back is to activate that potential, is to leave it all on the field. Okay? And so you say, why is this so important? How many of you remember a time in your life where you were clicking on every cylinder and you were in that flow state and you were, man, I remember that championship we won that first night, and man, it was incredible. It's 10 years to be able to stand in the middle to say we're the best. Do you know how I celebrated that night that we won a championship? It's 12 o'clock when I got finished with all the interviews. The only thing that was open was a Steak and Shake. I took that big gold basketball to a Steak and Shake. And I sit it down. They said, what is that? And I said, I just spent 10 years to win that. And I'm hungry. I'd like one of them double steak burgers. And I literally took it to my boss on Monday morning and I said, put it in the trophy case. What's next? See, I had captured the prey. Now I needed something new to pursue. I was already bored. Within one day of winning a championship, I was already bored with what it took me 10 years to capture. Everybody see that? So what big time people do is they set something new on the schedule and they keep working towards something new. And what Maslow is basically saying here is he's basically saying our ultimate goal is you should get interested in your potential. How many people do you know that you say, oh, they have potential? And here's what I say as a coach: telling a 14-year-old they got potential is cute. Telling a 42-year-old ain't cute anymore. What are we really saying to you? Help me to understand why you're playing at the level you're playing at. Help me to understand why you're capable of so much more. Help me to understand why you ought to be playing at this level. Right? That's why you should get interested in your potential, which is an idea of kinetic energy that is stored until activated. My wife, she did drugs every single day from 21 to 24. I did not know her during that period of her life. I was a basketball coach. She grew up as a little country girl in West Tennessee in a Christian home, but they never really pushed her. Like I was pushed my whole life by coaches, by a single mom. My wife got to hanging around the wrong people, doing the wrong things. So for 3 straight years, she did hard drugs every day. And one day she quit. No intervention, no rehab. She just quit cold turkey. And she started selling cell phones at Verizon. And she was good. She had good skills. And at 30 years old, they told her, her manager came to her and said, you got a lot of potential. You should go see this coach. He's going to help you activate your potential. They paid $50 for my wife to come to that workshop. She sat in the back row. I taught on a book I wrote called This Ain't No Practice Life, about how to activate your potential, about how to push toward your dreams, about how to hit your ambitions, about how to do something big. And at the end of that workshop, she walked straight up to me and looked at me and she said, I need to meet with you. And she was really pretty. So I said, I'm like, just step over here. Because I've been married to basketball for 10 years. I was excited to see a woman. She said, no, I'm going to read this book and I'm going to come back and I want to meet with you. I asked her 4 questions. What do you love doing? She said, I love taking care of people. I love hospitality. She said, I can cook without recipes. I said, I think you have the gift of hospitality. What are you really good at doing? She said, man, I'm really good at designing and doing this. Where is there a need in the world you can fulfill based on your talents? And I said, I got a bigger question. Why are you selling cell phones? Why are you not moving toward your B? She said, I've never had somebody talk to me like this. I've never had somebody coach me like this. I've never had that same woman that did drugs 3 straight years, is now running all of our retreats that we do, is now handling all the hospitality, now manages all the real estate we own, has now raised 3 beautiful babies. What happened to her? Her prey drive was activated. And her sex drive was activated. Or my sex drive was activated. We're done after 3, I promise. Now, here's my point. Here's my point. My point is, at 30 years old, that drive was in her. It was manufactured in her by the manufacturer at birth. It was a birthday gift. She had never opened it. She didn't even know how to open it. She didn't even know how to utilize it. What I really did was activate her drive for her to go push toward her potential. So when she came to me last week and said, I need a new coach, and I really want to be in this group of women, and I really think I need it, and it's really going to be good for me, I just smiled. And I said, look at how far you've come from selling cell phones, from being on drugs for 3 years, to raising 3 beautiful kids, to managing all the real estate for us, for being an anchor for our family. I want you to think about all the things you've done and how far you've come, because that prey drive is activated. Now, I'm going to show you how to activate it every single day. How many of you think you need to activate it every day? And why is this important? This is all 4 parts of your nature. I was a Covey disciple. And Covey taught me at 18 years old that people were made up of 4 parts. A body that's physical, a mind that's mental, a heart that's emotional, and a spirit that's spiritual. These are 4 parts of your nature. All 4 of these parts must be activated every single day to go into battle. So here's the goal. My goal is to come in every single day and do these 4 things. So this is what I typically do. Number 1, I get up in the morning, and the first thing I do is I listen to a song called It's a Great Day to Be Alive. Because it's always a great day to be alive when you wake up, yes or no? Amen. A month ago, I got a phone call that said one of my students, 52 years old, was at the gym working out, died of a heart attack in the middle of his workout. And he was a health coach. His wife reached out to me and said, I didn't know it, but my husband borrowed money to be in your coaching program. And he loved it. And I just want to thank you for pouring into him. See, I listened to this song, It's a Great Day to Be Alive, because do you know who the most frustrated people I coach are? The most successful. Successful people sometimes become chronically unhappy. You know why they're chronically unhappy? Because they can never get to the level they're trying to get to. No matter where they get to, there's always another level. Everybody with me? So I have to start off in a mindset of gratitude. And if you're a high D, how many high Ds I have in here? Dominant, driven people, raise your hand. One of the characteristics of dominant, driven people, never satisfied, right? And they're always frustrated. I knew my daughter, 10 years old, was a high D when she was 6 years old. Always hungry. My daughter would wake up 6 years old from upstairs and go, juice, somebody give me some juice. And my wife was like, what is wrong with our kid? I'm like, she's a high D on a disc profile. Dominant, driven, focused. So I wake up every morning and I listen to a song called It's a Great Day to Be Alive. On my way into the gym, I listen to a sermon, 15 minutes, feeds my spirit. I go work out at the gym, get my body right, 45 minutes, feeds the body. Okay, typically after that, Pray Drive is activated. I do a morning video almost every morning on my Facebook. If you're not following me on Facebook, go to my personal page and I do a video almost every single day. Now listen, I don't always feel like doing that video, but I know people are counting on me to do it. Third thing I do is I go home and I spend time with my kids. Activates my heart. Fourth thing I do when I'm getting dressed, takes me 16 minutes to get dressed, mostly the hair. It's high maintenance, I'm telling you. I listen to something on business, which activates my mind. By 8 a.m., guess what? All 4 parts of my nature have been activated. So I woke up tired, frustrated, irritated, just like you, anxiety. Go through my cycle. Body, mind, heart, and spirit. Feed my spirit, feed my body, feed my heart. Now what am I ready to do? Go into battle. Let's go get it. And it all goes to 0 at midnight. So listen to these mindsets, and I got just a few minutes and I'm done. Here's the mindsets of a high Pray Drive person. We go to bed tired and we wake up hungry. It all goes to 0 at midnight. No matter how much money you have in your bank account, I want you to pretend it goes to 0 at midnight. Number 3, there comes a time when winter asks what you've been doing all spring and summer. And winter's always coming. And number 4, it's going to be a fight, but we're going to find a way to win. It's going to be a fight, but that's the mindset of King David. It's going to be a fight, but we're going to find a way to win. We go to work on the body, on the mind, on the heart, and on the spirit. Now, let me show you what will activate the Pray Drive. How many of y'all can see how this is related to selling and follow-up every single day? There's a lot of content in this book. That's why in a minute I'm going to encourage you to get the book. And then I'm going to give you 2 free days of coaching. For the people who pre-order the book, I'm going to give you 2 free days of coaching with me. It's going to be well worth getting that book. These are the 5 activators of Pray Drive. I want you to write these down. Number 1, fear is an activator of Pray Drive. March of 2020, right in the middle of the COVID, John Wetmore, I was losing $250,000 a month. And that hurt my feelings. But you know what it really did? Pissed me off. And I went home, and you say, why was you losing $250,000 a month? Because I speak and coach for a living. This is what I do. I go around the world, and I speak to people, and I coach people, and they get excited, right? And then they sign up for me to be their coach. How Mr. Wetmore and his beautiful wife met me. I actually met them and told them I wanted to meet them. I knew they were doing something big. I didn't even know who they were. I just walked up to them in Dallas, Texas, and I said, I don't know you, but I feel like I should know you. The very next night, I was in their back seat going to a party, and look at us now. We're partners in insurance, right? It's fate, man. I'm telling you. But I knew when I met them, I need to know these people, okay? Now, fear. So I couldn't speak, and because I couldn't speak, I couldn't generate leads. Because I couldn't generate leads, I couldn't build the coaching business. And I was losing $250,000 a month. It's March of 2020 during COVID, yes? I was afraid. What did I do? When I'm afraid, what do? Take action. And I take more action, more action, more action, more action. So I started multiplying everything I'm doing. When I'm afraid, I take more action. Fear is a tremendous activator of Pray Drive. So I practice something now called mental subtraction. Mental subtraction is I take something I love and I pretend that I lose it, that I've got to give it up. Everybody see that? Take something you love and pretend you got to sell it because you didn't hit your sales numbers. And let that trigger your Pray Drive. I'm going into battle. Everybody with me? I don't feel like going into battle, but I ain't losing that. And I'm pretending I got to lose it. House, car, something that matters to you. That will trigger your Pray Drive. It's called mental subtraction. Number 2, competition will activate your Pray Drive. How many of you want to be the best? How many of you really motivated by competition? Yeah, I am. I love a little friendly competition. Right? I love when people tell me you can't do it. I love when people say you can't win. Okay, I got a friendly competition today. I was doing a coaching call at 12:30, and I said, I'm about to speak to 250 complete strangers. This is on my coaching call with my students. I said, how many of you think that 50% of the room will buy the book today to help support me? Right? This is what I tell my coach students. One guy said, Coach, I bet you can't get but 25%. What did I say? Game on, brother. Let's put a little friendly wager on it to see if I bring them enough value that they buy the book to support me. Everybody with me? See, all I did is create a little competition right there. Just a little friendly competition. Just fun, right? So competition is an activator prey drive. You need a nemesis. You need an adversary. You need somebody to get up every day and go to battle with, right? Could be the person kicking your butt in insurance. You're like, thank goodness. Thank you, I owe you. Because you're making me better. Number 3, environment is an activator prey drive. Environment, creating environment, coaching, being at these events. That's why we're going out on tour, getting people excited. Coming to the conference. Number 4, exposure. I see something. My mind is open to new possibility. And number 5, embarrassment. I'm embarrassed by my performance. I should be playing at a higher level. I want you to think about what is your primary activator of your drive. All of this is in the new book. Every single bit of it, step by step. You work through it. What's your B? What is your primary activator? Where do you fall off the wagon? I'll close with this. Over the last 5 or 6 years, I've been asked twice to speak at 2 different funerals of people I didn't know. And I said I'd be happy to speak at the funeral, but I need to talk to a family member. I need to talk to a friend. I need to talk to a coworker. I got some questions I want to ask as I build the eulogy. So I got the numbers and I called them and I said, what kind of dreams did they have? And they said they didn't have any dreams. How many people have they helped in their lifetime? I said, well, they didn't help a lot of people. What were they pursuing? Like, what was their big goals? Like, what kind of impact did they want to have? They didn't really have any big goals. I kept hearing this. They were just a good person. Do you know what it's like to give the eulogy for a person that lived on planet Earth 80 years and you don't have anything to say? Less than 30 people showed up at the funeral. I left there and I called my wife and I said, we ain't going out like that. We're going to help so many people. We're going to do so many things. They're going to have to pick the top 3 things. There won't be 30 people there. There'll be 3,000 people there or 30,000 people there. We're going to build success schools for kids and teach the habits of the top 1%. We're going to scale greatness factories around the world. We're going to build an insurance agency that's incredible. Like, these are things we're going to do. So at the end of our life, we can say, man, we activated that prey drive like you cannot imagine. That is the real reason we want to activate your prey drive. For the big impact that you can have in the world. And you can use insurance to do it. Just like you've seen Sean Mike do. Just like you've seen John Wetmore do. Just like you've seen all these other people do. You can do it too once the prey drive is activated. Now, I told you I was going to give you a lot. These are all things I'm going to give you when you purchase this book, when you pre-order this book. I'm doing a big event this Friday all day on visioneering, how to map out your future. It'll be virtual. When you get the book, you get the whole virtual, you get the replay of the virtual so you can sit down with you, your team, you can build it out. I'm doing a big event on January the 13th. You get virtually. You get a full day, so you really get 2 full days of coaching with me when you pre-order the book. And the third thing you get is 90 days of Prey Drive calls with me. Every Wednesday, I do a call for 30 minutes just to reactivate your Prey Drive. So imagine what you got today every week for the next 90 days. And you get all of that when you purchase the book. So all I need you to do, scan that code right there, folks. And I'm going to tell you a bigger reason whether you read books or don't read books. This is going to take you to a page. It's going to allow you to purchase the book. And if any reason you struggle with that, you can always get it on Amazon and then come back and send an email to support@coachburt.com if you buy it on Amazon. But there's another big reason I want you to buy this. Out of 17 books, I've never had a Wall Street Journal bestseller. We are on track to make this book a Wall Street Journal bestseller. And I want to sit down with my 10-year-old daughter and my 2.5-year-old son and my 12-week-old daughter. And I want to say, your dad came from a small town in Tennessee. He was raised by a single mama. He grew up on a ball field. And he went all the way to the Wall Street Journal bestseller list. And if you can help me do that, that's why I want to do it, to show my kids that it can be done. Now, I'm going to be here in the back. If you struggle with the code or you couldn't get it or you want to buy it on Amazon and you need to make sure you come, because I want you to get all the free things that come along with it. Now, the last thing is this. Take a picture of that if you need to, if you're struggling with the code, because that's a link that you can purchase the book as well. If you're struggling with the QR code for some reason, it's a big room. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is I really like working with John Wetmore. He and I are very interested in helping people build, grow, scale, and potentially sell an insurance agency. And he and I are going to be rolling out a coaching program for single agents. We're going to be rolling out a coaching program for agents that have small agencies that want to grow. And we're going to be rolling out a coaching program for people who have big agencies that want to scale it and sell it. And if you scan that code and get on the list, you're going to be one of the first ones that gets information on John and I's coaching program for single agents, small agencies, or big agencies that want to grow, that we're going to be releasing here in January of 2023. And you would get personal coaching from me and personal coaching from John Wetmore every single week on how to build, grow, and scale. And I would tell you, that's a pretty dang powerful duo right there, folks. Now, so scan this code. It'll take you to a page if you want to get information about that. If not, see John. He can get his team on it. And I want to say, everybody needs a coach in life. My name's Coach Burt. God bless you. And thank you guys for having me today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.